having to rush to other places. It's been a long time coming, hasn't it? But we're here. I want to thank, first of all, everybody that have been helping us with the bucket collections and the selling of the mugs, and really, you know, we've raised a fantastic amount of money. So if we can continue to do that as well, it would be great. I'm going to hand you now to Martin. My brain went dead then, not unusual, to take you through one or two things, and then we will introduce the gentleman behind us.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and thanks for joining us here tonight. This is a meeting which, as Pete said, couldn't have taken place actually a month ago because the then Board of Directors wouldn't have let us in. But here we are back home holding a supporters meeting where it should be held. Let's be clear, administration and all the associated penalties isn't something that the Supporters Club Committee ever wanted for Port Vale. However, the one very real benefit has been to rid our club of the self-interested individuals who had alienated its fan base. Following revelations in early December of financial mismanagement and fans and shareholders being misled by the board, the Supporters Club worked very hard to get rid of Peter Miller, Glenn Oliver, Mike Lloyd and Perry Deakin. We organised protests, called an EGM and put forward candidates for an interim board. In the event, neither the EGM nor our interim board was needed, but we were ready nonetheless. The most remarkable thing, when we look back on the last few months, is that for the first time, the fan base was united behind a common goal. That common goal was to reclaim our club. It didn't matter whether you were Starvem Out, Black and Gold, North London Valiants, or none of the above. Generally speaking, the vast majority of Port Vale fans wanted rid of a board of directors whose actions had made their position untenable. We said a number of times at Burslem Working Men's Club, Smallthorne Victory, Badley Green, that the board could not stand against the will of the fans. They couldn't, and they didn't. Now they're history, and it is our fervent hope that the administrators will pursue former directors for any monies owed to Port Vale and make them pay, quite literally, for the damage and heartache they've caused to this football club, its supporters and shareholders. Almost 1,500 people are now members of Port Vale Supporters Club, and that number continues to grow. Not bad when you consider that membership was around 200 back in October. We believe very strongly that an active and healthy supporters club is key to the future prosperity of Port Vale. We are extremely proud to say that to date, supporters club volunteers collecting with buckets and selling mugs and ceramic boots have raised an astonishing £24,783. We've even got t-shirts now. It's a tremendous effort, and we'd like to thank both the collectors and those who've given so generously to the Hardship Fund in the spirit of solidarity with Port Vale and its employees. Last week, £15,000 was placed by the Supporters Club into a separate bank account to be used for such things as the team's travel expenses, meals on training days, and other things as they come along. The Supporters Club will be given a fortnightly breakdown of expenditure from this account and will be consulted over how every single penny is spent. We intend to continue raising money until the end of the season and would appeal for volunteers to help us with this to see Pete or Gary afterwards. On to tonight then. The purpose of tonight's meeting is for us, the fans, to have the opportunity to put questions and concerns to Bob Young and Gerald Krasner, who you see before you, the team handling the administration process. We'll hand over to them shortly. However, I'd like to preface the discussion with the following statement from the Supporters Club. Port Vale Supporters Club will not be endorsing or backing any individual bidder or any organisation involved in the bidding process. There are several reasons for this. Firstly, we don't know the detail of any of the bids and haven't been able to ask any questions regarding any bids or bidders. Secondly, the Supporters Club wishes to have a healthy relationship with the future owner or owners of Port Vale, whoever they may be. We can't do this if we back the wrong horse. We can't do it if we've cozied up to a particular individual or group. We can't be a critical friend to Port Vale and scrutinise the actions of new owners if we're too close to any individual or group, and neither can anyone else for that matter. Ultimately, it's up to the gentlemen you see on the top table here, the people who have all the facts, to decide what is best for Port Vale Football Club and its creditors. The only thing the Supporters Club wishes to say is that we firmly believe it is in the best interests of Port Vale that any new owners have no connection whatsoever with previous failed regimes, and that no former directors of this football club are ever involved. As soon as a preferred bidder is chosen, we would ask that he, she or they opens a dialogue with the Supporters Club with a view to holding an open meeting with the fans as we have here tonight. The committee of Port Vale Supporters Club has no vested interests. We have nothing to gain from this process. We are not close to any of the bidders and don't intend to become close either. We do, however, have an agenda. We are here for Port Vale Football Club and to give ordinary fans a voice, irrespective of what the future may hold. Owners will come and go. They are the stewards, the temporary custodians of our great club. You, the fans, are Port Vale Football Club, and the Supporters Club is here for you and because of you. Thank you for your continuing support.
Good evening, everybody. For those who don't know me, I'm Gerald Krasner, one of the administrators, and on my right is Bob Young, who will be much more and well known to you. What we're going to do is give you a reasonably detailed report on what we have done and where we hope this is going, and we will then open the floor to questions. We've got roving mics, and the meeting will continue until all questions have been answered. There may well be certain areas where we can't divulge the information, and if that's the case, we'll let you know why. Now, unless you are expecting a bid for the club to come down the phone in the next hour or two, could I ask you first of all to turn your phones off so that we're not interrupted? If you are expecting a bid, by all means leave it off. I've often been accused in my professional capacity of taking the shirts off the back of people as well as everything else. Well, tonight I've taken my shirt off. As you can see, I've got the Port Vale t-shirt. I think it's a great idea, and I would ask everybody, if they can, buy your wives, buy your mistresses, buy your sweethearts, buy yourself a t-shirt this weekend when we'll have all sizes. Let's see if we can sell them out, because I am, as an outsider, immensely gratified by the attitude and numbers of the supporters, A, who have turned up here tonight, but B, generally, the support that has been given to this club. If I'm honest, I didn't know much about Port Vale till I came down here, but I learned quickly. And you are, can I say, first of all, you have one of the best facilities I've ever seen for Division 2 club, and hopefully in the not too distant future you'll be in a different division, and I mean upwards, not downwards. I remember, and I will get onto our report, when I sold Leeds to Ken Bates, I always said, he said he'd take Leeds out of the Championship, and I thought he meant to the Premiership. Having said that, let's get on now with the serious business of telling you what we've been doing and where we're going. It's only a few weeks that we've been appointed. It seems like years already, but it's only a few weeks, and in that time we have had meetings with the council, who I'd like to thank, and without whom there'd be no Port Vale tonight. They have provided the funding for us to buy time to sort this problem out. So on a non-political basis, I would like to put my thanks to the council, and you should pass this on to them. also on a non-political basis, I'd like to thank the local MP who has spared time to come to a meeting with us to tell us how she hopes she can help, to offer every encouragement, and I have to say comes over as a very good constituency MP, no matter what your political views. She has your interest at heart. I'd like to thank the media, not often I say that, who with one exception, one newspaper one day got it completely wrong, but apart from that, have done a great service to Port Vale. They've put out our views, they've assisted us in finding potential buyers, and generally they've reported very fair about what's going on. We've had meetings with your representatives who have been, as you hear, very supportive, have given us £15,000 of the collection for specific purposes, and we account to them regularly for how this money is being spent. Our first job when we came in was to stabilise the football club. If we didn't stabilise it, we wouldn't be making the end of the season. In order to do that, unfortunately, we've had to cut some of the costs. There have been some staff redundancies amongst the administrative staff, and as you know, we have loaned out for money one of the star players of the club, and that has gone to bridge the gap in the funding to get us through this difficult time. We've talked to Mickey Adams. We have taken a decision which has been publicised, but I'll repeat it tonight, that our first job, as well as stabilising the club, is to avoid relegation. No point saving the club if we're not in the Football League next season. And with that in mind, no further players will go out on loan. It's too late now anyway, we've missed the deadline, but that was on purpose. Nothing will be done with the existing playing staff that will imperil the future survival in Division 2 of the club. So the team will remain intact. And hopefully eventually we might actually get 90 minutes with Shrewsbury. It remains to be seen. It could go into next season. We have looked to put out a bidding process, and at this stage I'm going to hand you over to Bob, who has run the bidding process, so that he can explain to you what he's been doing, how it works, because I'm sure you're going to have questions on it, and I'm just as sure we're not going to answer them, because it has to remain secret till we have a bidder, for obvious reasons. Bob?